Gary Chapman, President, Group Services in Dnata, the Emirates Group.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us here at the World Travel and Tourism Conference 2012. We're just starting the conference so far, but how do you view the WTTC? Do you think it's one of the more important trade bodies?
Absolutely. I think it's made up of some really hard-hitting personalities, a great collection of organisations and senior executives from those organisations that have not only the pulling power but the access to the right people. So it's a serious organisation and intending to make serious inroads and support the travel and tourism industry.
It's a 2012 event this year. How, for Emirates more specifically, how are you finding the climate as we start this year?
Well, again, I think the challenges of the industry haven't really changed too much, but we're very optimistic. I think the truth is people are going to want to travel. I think as the emerging economies, the wealth creation that's going on, you won't hold that back, in spite of some of the difficulties we face, whether it's from visas or from taxes and charges that have been levied, infrastructure constraints. The power of people wanting to explore, wanting to travel, wanting to see the world is so great that I feel very optimistic. Sure, you can have short-term blips and you can have some challenges along the way, whether it's geopolitical or whatever, but in the long term, it's an industry that's going to grow and grow.
And you mentioned emerging markets there. You've just, or late last year, I believe, opened a new venture in India. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Yes, Dnata, in the form of our corporate travel business, we have not only an equity in the Holt Robinson Group, but we represent them in the region. So we've gone into the corporate travel business in India, been very selective, very focused. It's a tough market, no question about it. And the longevity in terms of the investment required as a travel agent, the cash flow requirements are quite demanding. So we've been very selective, very focused about it, and it's off to a good start. We only launched there in November last year, but the signs are positive. It's a low-risk way of entering the market because it is incredibly, incredibly competitive, and it's so dynamic and so changing with technology and everything else. But we're very comfortable where we're at right now and very positive about the opportunity.
Certainly going to be a very important market moving forward. Back in Europe, you've made an acquisition again with Travel Republic, sort of high-end, long-haul. Is that something that's on your agenda at the moment?
Yeah, well, again, Travel Republic's an interesting organisation. It's very strong in the UK. It's in the process of expanding into Spain and then later Germany. So it will broaden its base into Europe. But it's interesting from a Dnata perspective because we are the largest travel services provider in the Middle East region. Access to the right technology, the right platforms is very important. And we see Travel Republic as a good way of obtaining that technology. They're very well advanced, obviously. It's all about technology and IT solutions. And this was a way of getting hold of that without starting from scratch. So it complements very much what we do. And it's taken a long time, actually. The internet and the online travel booking in the Middle East has taken quite a while to get there. I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time. And yes, it's growing, but we're now starting to see it explode. So it was the right time for Dnata to get hold of that technology. And we can then roll that out through Travel Republic in the Middle East as well.
Okay. One other thing that's always on everyone's lips when we talk about the aviation industry is fuel prices, which I believe you're heavily involved with for Emirates. Where do you see that heading in the next 6 to 12 months?
I wish I knew. Look, the financial community are very generally fairly bullish about oil. Depending on whether you're talking WTI or Brent, but I think Brent is around about $120, and most of them are predicting that sort of level going forward. The truth is none of us know. But I guess the key point about fuel is for airlines like Emirates, and it's not just Emirates, as I said, it'll be applied to all of the major international carriers. Fuel's now heading towards 40% of your costs. You only got to go back a decade when it was maybe 12, 13%. So that's the dramatic change that fuel has had on a business. So it's an incredibly significant issue and an incredible challenge to the airline industry to cope with that, to get more efficient. Emirates has invested in technology. We obviously are committed to the 380 as an example and to the 777. These are very fuel-efficient aircraft. So you've got to look at how you can improve on your fuel burn, how you can improve on the efficiency. I think if it continues at these levels, the ability and the elasticity in the market to pass on price increases is going to come into question. Do you choke off demand by pushing the prices up high enough to cover those fuel costs? And as you've seen, airlines are struggling. Airlines in Europe are making losses. Airlines in Asia are making profits but substantially reduced. And you've seen airlines basically go under. If it weren't for support from governments and that, a large number of airlines would actually be in much bigger trouble.
We're seeing, you mentioned government support there, but we're seeing British Airways in the UK struggling to get a third runway built or increase capacity there. Air France is talking about reducing its short haul, and a lot of European legacy carriers are struggling. Do you feel your position in Dubai has been especially beneficial during this time for Emirates?
Well, ironically, Dubai is a great, we always said geographically we're well placed, east, west, north, south, and we've created a significant hub. I think the difference between Dubai and a lot of take Europe in particular is that the government's recognition of the importance of the aviation industry to its success and to the growth of Dubai in terms of travel, tourism and trade is well renowned, and they are committed to that. That's not about subsidy. That's just about having a clear focus as to where they want to go and recognise the importance of aviation. In Europe, we seem to get mixed messages. Obviously, the debate about the third runway at Heathrow. These things go on and on and on, whilst other governments that recognise the importance of this, particularly in the Far East here, investing in infrastructure, investing in the facilities required to actually allow aviation to grow, are going to steal the thunder. And I think there is a wake-up call in the UK at the moment. I think they're beginning to recognise that. And the shift of traffic patterns in Europe, the government seems to be finally getting that message. Now, how long that debate goes on for remains to be seen.
Just one final question then. People in London are quite aware of Emirates with the Arsenal Stadium and Emirates Stadium there, but you're launching a new venture just over the Thames.
Absolutely. There's a 10-year commitment to a cable car that's been now called the Emirates Station down by Canary Wharf there in that region. This will allow you, in fact, it creates a connection over the Thames by cable car, so it's quite unique, and it will be branded as Emirates.
We'll hopefully take a ride later this year. Thank you very much for taking some time out this year. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, Chris. Thank you.